Good evening, everyone in Houses of the Rebellion, specifically House Coreman. This is Kelatos, your friendly guild leader. I know I haven't made a video in a long time, but there's a lot of information that's been given out the last couple of days, as well as a lot of speculation that people are thinking is fact, and that may or may not be true. So I want to just make a quick video here to kind of talk about what we do know, what we don't know, what we can safely assume, and what is just speculation, and what I personally feel is probably a good speculation, and what's completely, totally out there. I'm not quite sure where they came from. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Grand Arena Championships. So this is a brand new feature, and I'm pretty excited, and I think there's going to be a lot of work here. I'm going to be totally into doing this and getting the highest rank that I can. I don't know what the end rewards are going to be because they look pretty mediocre, but they said this is an exhibition round anyways, so I wouldn't expect them to be too out of hand. But the Grand Arena Championship basically works like this. Everybody has a division, okay? And the division is based solely on your galactic power, okay? So there's 11 different divisions in the game, and I'm 95% positive that these are global divisions. So everybody that plays the game is in the different divisions. So like everybody between 3.8 million and 4.4 and 4.9 million GP is in the division that I am currently in, Division 2. Okay, if I'm understanding this correctly, there's not 4 or 5 different Division 2s like there's thousands of arena shards. It is a global division. So we go from the highest, which is basically 4.5 million plus. These are going to be your long-time players that may have paid a little bit of money, your whales that have paid a lot of money, or just those very efficient, long-time free-to-play players since day one that have just done a phenomenal job of staying focused and getting top arena payouts for years. All the way down to Division 11, which is going to be your brand new players. Now, personal feelings, I'm hoping that these GP divisions are based on the same GP divisions in Grand Arena, so that the number of available points and number of teams is even for everybody within the division, and I'll explain why I think that in a second. So the division is just based on your your GP, and where that comes in, if you look at the reward structures, okay, you can look at the rewards based on divisions, okay, and you'll see that the division or the rewards don't change yet. But we have been told that the rewards will get better the higher division you go. So right now, everybody at the end of the Grand Arena Championship, which we see is in 7 days, everybody will get at a minimum these rewards based on their rank. Now, as you get Grand Arena Championship points, you can go up in the leagues within your division. Okay, so use my account for an example. I am Division 2. I will stay at Division 2 for the entirety of this Grand Arena Championship, if I am not mistaken. Okay, now the next championship, if I jump up to over 4.5 million GP, I will be in Division 1. But I believe as of right now, from the time the Grand Arena starts, you are locked into your division. Okay, so right now I'm currently in the Carbonite League of Division 2. Okay, now as I get these Grand Arena points, I can increase my rank within my league. That's what this leaderboard here is. Okay, so as I complete feats or as I get points in Grand Arena, I get increases in my my rank and potentially increases in my league. Okay, so that's the way that works. Okay, The only way outside of Grand Arena to get those points is by completing feats. Okay? Now, it's possible, I guess, that people can get up to Division or Bronzium League. Okay? It is possible for people to get up to Bronzium League, and that will be if they achieve a Grand Arena score of 4,750 or more. Okay? Now, that happens... that should happen if you can full clear at 4 million or above. You're going to make Bronzium. Okay? If you can full clear all 3 rounds, assuming that they keep the points the same, you're going to get somewhere between 6.6 and 6.8 thousand Grand Arena Championship points. So there's a good chance you'll do that. I don't know that anybody will make it to Chromium, but as the season goes on, when we go into like a full month-long season or 2-month-long season, and you do multiple Grand Arenas, your points will accumulate over time and get you up to a potentially Chromium, Erodium, or Kyber. Now, along with those, like I said, are the feats. Now, some of you may have noticed that in the global leaderboards, there are already people with 125 Grand Arena Championship score. And that is by doing this feat right here, the Fleet Commander feat, by completing 15 Fleet Arena battles. So they won their first 5, they refreshed, won those second 5, and refreshed a second time and won all 5 of those. Or if they didn't win all of them, they could have refreshed a third time. But the rest of these feats, at least I'm assuming they're global feats, the rest of them are all based on Grand Arena. So you can't get any more points unless you do that. Okay? So that's the Grand Arena. And the reason I hope that the divisions within the Grand Arena are coinciding with the points, the GP brackets in Grand Arena is that, like, say this particular one is 3.8 to 4.49. If I'm remembering correctly, at 4 million GP, you have to set an extra defense and use an extra offense. So there are potentially more points available to those people that are in the higher end of this particular division. So hopefully that is not the case when we see it happening live, because if it is, then those at the lower end are at a pretty severe disadvantage, because they're not going to, they cannot keep up with those at the higher end. So that's that. If there's any other questions, I'll be in Discord. Feel free to tag me, ask any questions. But that's the way that goes. That is all the official information that I have seen. And I hopefully that clears up a little bit of what's going on. One last thing, the rewards. You'll see up here in the top right, the championship ends in 6 days, 18 hours. At the end of that time, that's when all these payouts happen. So whatever your rank is in your current league within your division, you will get a certain payout, which should be the same among every division. It should be the same among every division. So right now it doesn't make a difference, but if you fully participate, you should be looking at the Bronzium rewards. Okay, there's a potential for the Chromium, but who knows? Whoops. Let's go back to those rewards for a second, because it looked like there may be different amounts of GP needed, or championship points needed, to move up. Yes. So if you notice that as I'm going down the divisions, well, as you get to a certain point, there's more, a greater score required to get up to the Bronzium, Chromium, Erodium, and Kyber leagues. So who knows? We'll see how that goes. But Grand Arena Championships, I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are too, because ultimately this is where CG wants all of the crystal economy to end up. Rather than doing it in Squad Arena, they want to use it in Grand Arena. So make sure you're not just focusing on one team. You need to have, depending on what your division is, 3, 4, 5, 12 teams that are top-notch, ready to go. Now, maybe I'll make another video about what teams you could use, but I think Mobile Gamer and Arnold have that kind of covered. But I could make one, kind of show you guys my opinion, my thoughts. The other thing is the new territory battle, which we don't have a ton of information on, but here is what I do know. Okay, now if you look at the old territory battle, the Hoth, there's 6 slices, so it lasts 6 days. Geonosis is only going to be 4 slices, so it lasts only 4 days. Now, what characters are going to be needed? The short answer is we don't know. Okay, they have not been specific in any official capacity about what characters are needed to do the Dark Side Geonosis territory battle. However, by paying attention to some of the communications on the forums and listening to CG Carry on the Escape podcast, there are some very good ideas of where to start. And CG Carry strongly insinuated that the Geonosians are going to be needed in the territory battle. Okay, and we also know we're going to get the Geonosian Brood Alpha, so those are going to be needed. It is also a fairly reasonable assumption, in my opinion, that the Separatist droids are going to be needed. Droidica, Magna Guard, General Grievous, B1 Battle Droid, and B2 Super Battle Droid. Okay, I do believe those 5 will be needed. Okay, with that, and then there's 3, maybe 4 more that you could use. But I don't know how much they're going to be needed. But that is Newt Gunray, Count Dooku, and Asajj Ventress. Those are the other Separatists. So plan on using these Separatists in the territory battles. There's also a strong argument to be made that the bounty hunters could also be needed. I'm not as confident in that, but you'll see some of the former Game Changers have made a big deal about Jango Fett being in the promotional video for the new territory battle. So that is possible, but there has been 0 official communication or 0 even unofficial communication about bounty hunters being needed. So I would say work on them at your own risk, because I don't think it's a bad assumption, but we have literally zero information from CG to back up that assertion. So I wouldn't really focus on them too much. And the reason that's a big deal is because one of the Capital Games employees, I guess forum moderators, said that special missions, not combat missions, but the special missions will require a 16,500 character GP to participate. So I have my Droidica at gear 11. You'll see he's just over 16.7, and I've got all of his stuff maxed out as far as abilities, except for the Zeta on his deflector shield generator. Now my Newt Gunray, he does not have all the Omegas. I'm missing 1, and I use 1 piece of gear from gear 11, and he is also over 16.5. So maxed abilities with mods at gear 10 plus maybe 4 or 5 will put you at that 16.5. So it's not too arduous. However, again, from what I've heard, Geonosis territory battle is going to be very difficult. You know, they've said that the strongest whale guilds will only get maybe 60% of the stars. So my personal speculation is that if you go in with gear 10 and barely make the minimum, you're not going to do very well. Okay? Let's say if it's 3 waves, you might get the first wave. And the reason I say this is going back to the Malak event. You know, I was fortunate enough to be able to participate in that event, and everybody got upset that it was a 17,500 character gear requirement. Now, for the dark side, you didn't need that. But for the light side, if you had anything less, I don't think it could have been done with anything less than that. And I did it quite a bit, and I had 2 characters just barely at 17.5, and it took me many tries. So they say that for the special missions they need less, like 16.5. Don't take that as, oh, they're just trying to hold us or keep us away from that. Really, going by the Malik event, if you don't meet that minimum requirement, there's really not a chance of doing anything in there. And if you just barely make it, chances are you're not going to get very far. So, yeah, it's the requirement. I'm doing air quotes right now. It's a requirement, but really expect it to be needed to really make any progress in that territory battle. Now, I've also seen that it's going to be more combat mission heavy than the Hoth territory battles. So, the biggest slices in Hoth territory battles required 4 character combat, or 3 character combats and a special mission. Or 3 combat missions and a special mission. So if they're saying it's more than that, you could bet that you're going to see at least 4 battles in every slice, potentially 5 battles in the slices, or maybe even 6 or 7. I don't know what they're planning, but ultimately that tells me that each individual, to be able to max out the combats and everything that's there, you're going to need at least 6 or 7 dark side teams to max out all the combats. And those 6 or 7 dark side teams are going to need to be at least gear 12. If what they're saying is to be taken to heart as far as the difficulty. So you might as well go and start working on these separatists. And you're probably still going to need 4 or 5 other teams. Okay? You've got these separatists, plus you are going to need, again, my speculation, at least 4 or 5 other teams eventually to gear 12. So you got to start working on your dark side, and any of those teams that you've got sitting around at gear 10, gear 11, start working on them and bringing them up to gear 12. Okay, if you've got a first order team that's not quite all gear 12, if you got your separatists, start working on those. If you're working on a Darth Treya team or an Emperor Palpatine, an Empire team, get them to gear 12. I would strongly recommend you don't stop gearing a team, a full 5, until they're gear 12 plus 3. Because chances are you're going to definitely need that much just to complete these combats. Now, here in House Korriban, that's what our focus is going to be on. So the good news is that you can work on your arena teams, you can work on your fleet arena teams, and if there are Darksiders, you could throw them and use them in the territory battle. But know that you are going to need at a minimum 4 teams each slice through those combat missions. I would argue and say that you are going to need 6 or 7. Because CG has said they want this to be months until anybody gets the maximum rewards. So know that that's what we got to do. So a couple of Sith teams, a Sith Empire team, a couple of Separatist teams, maybe a First Order team, and for those that are also working on it, perhaps a Bounty Hunter team. This is all going to be needed. So start planning out what order you're going to gear these guys. I'd strongly recommend starting with Separatists and Separatist droids. Start working them, start gearing them, get them up to gear 12 because you are going to need it. That is not unofficial. They need to be gear 12 to finish combats, but that is kind of reading between the lines, saying it's going to be very difficult. They don't want people to be able to finish it right away, which means that towards the end you are going to need gear 13 because those full-out whale guilds have every character at gear 12 right now, and they flat out said those people will get 60% of the way. So they are tuning it to do Gear 12, Gear 13 teams. So understand that before we start the Geonosis territory battle. And I'm telling you now, if you go in there with a Gear 8, Gear 9 team, you're not going to be able to do anything. You might as well not even... Well, I mean, go ahead and try, but don't expect anything. So find your 5, 6 strongest Gear 11 teams and start finishing those up now. Maybe slow farm character shards while you get gear for these guys, whichever works for you. But that's my 2 cents, my personal speculations, as well as the official communications about the Galactic Arena Championships and the Geonosian Territory Battles. I'm really looking forward to both of these, and hopefully I'll be putting out some more information now that they've got some free time over the summer to kind of help you guys out and kind of give you some more direction on what to do and how to prepare yourselves. And I'll keep watching the forums and posting stuff as I see it. So before I sign out, before I close this video, shout out to our compatriots over there in the Order of the Rogue. For those of you who've been us since the Chaos days, a lot of our old guildmates are over there. We still talk and hang out. Feel free to reach out to them. Maybe if you want to talk and get on their Discord, maybe. Great guys to talk to. Go ahead and hit up them. They got a lot of strategy that we can share back and forth and totally work it out together. So good luck, Corbin. Good luck, everybody else in the Rebellion. And shout out to my peeps in the Order of the Rogues. This is Hekelatos saying good night.